Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you haven't noticed already, we have surpassed the 1000 subscriber mark, and we just want to say a big thank you to all who have subscribed so far. When we just started this channel, we didn't know anybody would want to hear what we have to say, but you guys have supported us thus far. So we just want to extend a big thank you. And if you have not yet joined the community, now is a good time to hit that subscribe button.
Today is another discussion day, and we're going to be looking at some tips that you need to consider when selecting your builder or your contractor. Selecting the right builder or contractor is critical to the process of completing the project. If you haven't connected with the right person, it may mean waste of time, it may mean waste of money, and it may just cause frustration. So what we're going to be doing is just exploring some of the areas that we need to consider when we're trying to select the right person for the job. And this is not just for a big project, but just about any task that you're taking on. Once you may need a builder, tradesman, contractor, these are some of the tips that we may look at.
Tip number 1, my recommendation. Ask around, consult with people who have gone through the process already. Maybe a neighbor, maybe a co-worker, maybe a family member, but anybody who has gone through the process already. Consult with them and ask them to recommend somebody for it.
Recommendation works. The thing about it though, you have to be careful because people recommend what works for them. A person may recommend a builder who is available once per month because that is facilitated by their cash flow. But then that's not the kind of builder that you want. So you have to try to get a full picture of the experience, and from that full picture then you can determine whether or not that person will work for you.
Tip number 2, observation. Try to go and see this contractor or builder in action. Visit a site that he may be working on and watch how he takes care in doing his work. If he's neat, if he's using the proper tool, for example, laying blocks, if he's using his level, his card line, and things like that. So you have to observe him in action.
Sometimes it's not so convenient for you to physically visit a site to observe work done, because sometimes we're doing our project remotely. But it is always a good idea to request pictures or samples of work previously done. It's even better if you could get a sample that relates to the scope of work you want to get done. By observing the sample, you can draw your own judgment as to whether or not you think this person is capable of producing the kind of output that you want.
Tip number 3, accessibility. So you want to ensure that the contractor or builder that you're using is accessible. For example, you need to know where he lives or where he operates from. You need to have a contact number for him. When we were building, we got a recommendation to use this grill man, but when we needed him to install, we couldn't find him.
You call him.
We call him, not getting through. So we had to contact somebody else to get another phone number for him. I had to go to a co-worker to find who lives in the same community he lives, to point out where he lives, so that we could end up going up by his house and literally pushing him to complete the job. So what you want to do is ensure that the person that you're selecting is accessible.
The whole thing of builder or tradesman ghosting, that's a thing. They come up, they show up for the first 2 days of work, leave their tool, and then they are nowhere to be found after a while. So you want to ensure that these are persons who you can actually reach out to in the event that you need them. Tip number 4, professionalism. Professionalism is key when it comes to building, but how we measure professionalism here might be different from how we measure it in other domain. You want to know that the builder or the contractor is able to get the job done. So it's not a formal interview that you're going to do to check their level of knowledge or their strategy. Sometimes when I bring them on the land, they can look at it and say, alright, we may have to drop the material right here, we may have to get a piece of zinc right here and roll the material down. Based on their years of experience, they know how to get things done, whether the terrain is difficult or whether it's a flat ready to build on land. So you want to know that the person you're working with has the right knowledge for the task, and this can be ascertained through some informal interviews. Please note, it's not a look, it's not a sound, because some people sound good and look good but they can't do the work. You want the real hardcore people who know how to get the everyday job done, and by talking to them you can get a feel of what they know and what they are capable of.
Tip number 5, cost. Select your builder based on the most reasonable cost. Now, we had mentioned getting a number of quotations. Once you get these, review it for which one is the most reasonable, and you can select your builder on that basis. However, please note that the cheapest cost is not necessarily the most reasonable cost. Not all builders will be able to give you a detailed estimate. However, agree with them a list of rates. This list of rates, you can compare it with another builder's list of rates and make a decision on that basis.
Guys, selecting and maintaining a good relationship with your contractor, your tradesman, your builder requires flexibility, and it requires some amount of patience. Sometimes when a tradesman give you a list of material, you can't even make out the money. But still work with them. Go through with them, work with them. Sometimes they can't present themselves the way you would have wanted them to, but still work with them. They are not coming for spelling bee, they're not coming for national school debate, they are coming to build, and many times they know their work and they can get their work done. Yeah. So just give it the patience that it needs, give it the flexibility, and I want you to apply these.
So remember the 5 tips, guys. Recommendation, observation, accessibility, professionalism, and cost.
If you found this video useful, we're inviting you to like it, comment on it,
share it, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Until next time, keep the dream alive. Bye.